Hello and welcome to another episode of Creed Got Robbed. My name is Mike, and I'm joined here by, original host that started us on this great voyage.
Oh, dang.
It's David, people.
Oh, dang.
It's David. He's back. Oh, dang.
Do I get, like, OG status? Is that...
Did we this was a debate? I had assumed you had always had OG
Oh,
status.
sweet. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we are hitting these mean streets of podcasting at like 8:30 on a Saturday morning because we're weird morning people, and it feels great.
Oh, it feels so good.
It feels so good, and so we're gonna talk about just a couple of movies that we've seen lately that we enjoyed and or might be worth discussing, and then maybe hit a couple news items and talk about some things coming up that seem pretty solid. So. Well, David, let's hit the books. Let's hit the ground running here. First of all, again, this is Creed Got Robbed, and since I last checked, pretty sure it's still the case. The Academy has not responded to my request to review the Oscar ceremony in which Creed was robbed. So, the struggle is ongoing, but.
I think
baby steps.
I think
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
If we stick to it, I think eventually, we'll get our way. I think eventually.
Just the overwhelming populism will not be denied. You can no longer hide from the truth that Creed got robbed.
It's totally true. So what movies did you see that you think we should talk about this week?
Well, last night actually,
very recent.
I know, very recently, so it's still fresh in my memory. My wife and I were wondering what kind of movie we should watch, and we decided to watch 1956's 12 Angry Men.
Ooh, okay, nice.
I know, and it's so it was an oldie, but I can't remember if I had seen it previously, like maybe like once in like high school. It definitely feels like a high school kind of movie.
Oh yeah.
Like as in like a movie you would watch like during high school because it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember if I had seen it or not. But I went back and watched it, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a really good movie.
Nice.
It's a very good kind of courtroom drama.
I haven't. So I actually have heard so many things about this movie, but I've actually never sat down and watched it, just from beginning to end. I've seen I think scenes I've seen that were like kind of like. Really famous scenes, but is this the movie that was all in one room or like one place?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
it's pretty because just to lay the scene here for those who might not know, it's a jury. It's like set in like the 1950s. It's like a jury trying a murder case, and they take the initial vote, and 11 of the jurors say he's guilty, but one votes not guilty, and the debate goes on from there, and it really is just entirely takes place in just this one courtroom or just this one jury room. I mean, there's kind of asides to like different corners of the room for characters to like break off one-on-one.
Sure.
But it really is just completely set in that one room, and it's really cool just to show how I think that kind of that it's effective that way just because it draws like from the stage play. But I won't give too much away about how it unfolds. But I thought this movie did a really good job of. I think it did a really good job of using dialogue effectively to give you an idea of character. Or using like costuming, so it's like, oh, this guy's wearing this kind of suit and is making these kinds of comments. Like you can really kind of it's surprising like how much you can pick up like somebody's worldview from just one or two lines of dialogue. And this movie's really good at giving everybody that immediate context and letting you know like exactly like where this person's coming from, like pretty quickly, and then it's really good at building on that and like making that an effective part of the story, and like how like you understand like when somebody it happens during the film. It's a minor spoiler here, but some people change their votes.
Yeah,
and it's very the movie makes it very easy to see why that
Okay.
happens.
Yeah, when I've heard people talk about it and I've heard like analysis of the movie, like they normally reference like the lighting in the film. So I guess the
Mm.
lighting, which I haven't seen, so I can't really speak on it, but apparently the lighting in the film is really telling of all the characters. It builds drama. It's kind of revealing. And then also I've heard about the pacing of the editing is like is really really tense. So
Yeah, like
yeah.
it definitely like I think with the like the lighting and like the costuming, it's like it I don't think it's a mistake that the person who is voting not guilty at first, is he's wearing a white at the end he puts on his jacket and it's a white
Of
jacket and
course.
he has light pants. It's
Of
like
course.
it's interesting, like kind of hints like that. And yeah, definitely I think the camera work is I mean, cuz you can kind of tell like when you're kind of thinking from one character's perspective and like the close-ups get really kind of intense and things, and just seeing how it like the camera just pans around the room like you're, and it kind of focuses in on someone like closer and closer. It slowly zooms in as
Mm.
they're, making a serious statement or accusation, and it does really kind of give you it's really good at putting you in that place, like with showing like details like, oh, the fan's broken, and it's like it's the hottest day of the year.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like everybody's in these like stuffy like suits and dress shirts, and you can just like see the sweat starting to bead from people throughout the film, and it's like it really you can just for me it was like very evocative, just like like you can just imagine the frustration of everyone there, like when someone's like, "Come on, can we just like vote this guy and tell him can we just vote this already? Get out of here. It's really hot." So it's like I think it does a really good job of putting you in that place. And another sidebar,
Sidebar.
underrated thing. It's 90 minutes.
Is it really?
It's only 90
Wow.
minutes.
So
So it's
it's pretty streamlined and straight ahead then. Not a lot
yeah,
of filler.
which is sometimes I don't need a 3 hour like epic.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a good like your movie doesn't have to have like a billion scenes or or be like 3 hours and have 10 post credit scenes to be entertaining. Like it can be if your movie's 90 minutes, like you can write a really great movie that's 90 minutes and takes place in one room. And I just thought that was I mean, and they did it in like the 1950s. I just thought that was I really enjoyed it, and I think it still definitely holds up today. So I think it's definitely worth a watch.
Awesome. Sidebar of the sidebar. If
Oh,
you enjoyed 12 Angry Men,
yes.
I think just the way you're describing it, I think you'd also like a movie called Rope by Alfred Hitchcock.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's all set in one location. I don't want to give anything away about the story because it's super interesting. It's Alfred Hitchcock, so it's going to be really twisty and turny. But it's all filmed in like one dinner scene, and they use camera trickery to make it look like it's all actually shot in one continuous loop. So like, did you see Birdman or like any
Uh,
like movies with like extended long shots?
yeah, and so is rope kind of like that? Because
It is.
there are ways to kind
It,
of hide it, but it definitely it seems like it's kind of like a one take.
yes, and the story is it's super focused and it's super fast moving. So if you like 12 Angry Men, you would probably like Rope.
Yeah, well, coincidentally enough, I have really not. I've somehow just have not heard of this movie at all.
Ooh,
So I'm gonna take your advice and not look up a thing about it and just sit down and watch it someday. And
definitely.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that turns out. So,
Awesome.
David,
Yes.
what's the best movie you've seen in the past couple weeks?
So completely unlike 12 Angry Men, probably, there is a movie that just does everything wrong in quite possibly the
Mm.
best way. So it's
Mm.
called The Greasy Strangler. And no, hear me out. No, hear me out. So this movie is perfect. It is so
It's
there are movies that
like it's a 10 out of
it is
10.
it is like literally 10 out of 10. Everyone should watch this movie. So there are movies that have like kind of like a disgusting like subject matter, right? Like they're kind of
Mhm.
like exploitation movies. There are movies that are
Right.
so bad but they're trying to be good, kind of like The Room or I don't even know, like Fateful Findings, like these movies that are so bad but they're
Yeah.
fun to watch. This
Mhm.
movie is the perfect down the middle. It is so poorly done and so disgusting, that it is entertaining. I think it's like 95 minutes long. It feels like 3 hours because it's so disgusting. And it's like it is baffling that this movie exists, and it is so entertaining.
And I'm laughing so much because after you had mentioned that you watched this movie, I watched the trailer and I was like,
Oh man, it is like
what is
so
this? I don't like.
yeah.
Like never. I don't think I've had a trailer be such like an affront to my senses before, and like my good like sensibility as like a human
Yeah.
being. I was just like, what? What is? There's so much.
Yeah,
What is
like
this?
it succeeds on so many levels. It's entertaining to watch. It's so funny, and it does make you feel like you need to take a shower afterwards. So
Yeah. Yes.
it sets out on a one goal, and it's to make you feel uncomfortable, and it completely succeeds.
Like if for just from the trailer, I don't know if they had anything to do with the movie. I don't think they did, but it very much felt like a Tim and Eric kind of vibe.
I saw a lot of comparisons to Tim and Eric and the Greasy Strangler. They're very similar.
Yeah, just for you know that's kind of that when I watched the trailer, I was just like this is how I feel when I watch the Tim and Eric movie.
Oh, Jesus. Now that I don't know about that
Oh,
one.
God.
I actually did recently watch that too, thinking that it would be better after I watched The Greasy Strangler. It was
No.
not. It was not. It's still really uncomfortable in a bad way. But no, this Greasy Strangler though, just like a brief rundown of the story. Basically, a father and a son fall into a love triangle with this woman, and the father is a serial killer who greases himself up and strangles his victims to death, and sometimes eats their body parts. Like that's just like the overview. That's the overview.
That's something.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And the music is by this electronic composer who back in the day was in a group called Fuck Buttons. So more offensive, like
Excuse me?
exactly. Like everything about this movie is offensive. It's great. But he was in a band called Fuck Buttons, and he does some super interesting, like kind of like pulse pounding, but also super catchy electronic composition, and it fits so perfectly with the movie. So, I was not expecting this movie to be like as good as it was. I wasn't expecting it to like jump up to like my top 15 movies of all time. But
Oh wow.
it like just breached it. Like it like stuck its head into the list. Just
Oh
its
my.
teeny little head. Yeah.
Its teeny greasy little head. It's
Yep. It just slid its way into my top 15.
Why you got to do that to
Oh,
me?
sorry.
Why are you gonna say it
I'm
like
sorry.
that? Well, that's certainly you're right. That is very much on the opposite end of the 12 Angry Men spectrum. But that certainly sounds like an interesting movie to check out. I think I'm gonna have to add it to the list and someday. I don't know.
Someday. It's definitely you have to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
slightly.
I'm just gonna. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess so that's kind of what we've been watching lately. I also wanted to come I guess kind of hit up a couple news beats or talk about something on the horizon that seems interesting to us.
Okay.
News-wise, I guess we had I guess a couple different things like looks like we had some Marvel news. They're filming those movies back to back instead of all simultaneously, which seems like a logistical nightmare already.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, it stresses me out just thinking about it. Apparently Taika Waititi is directing a stop motion animation movie about Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee.
I read that yesterday, and again, I have no thoughts on that. I just don't know.
I really love that director. I think What We Do in the Shadows is probably one of the absolute funniest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm very curious about it. You know, if maybe I don't know. I do like stop motion and animation.
Yeah.
With movies with animals. So I don't know. jury's not out on that one
We'll
yet.
have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. But in a, we were talking about this earlier, and I thought we were outraged enough to mention it. David, how do you feel about a new Labyrinth movie?
You know what? I heard through the grapevine that the Goblin King is not going to be in it, and my heart it goes out for all those Goblin Kings out there, all those Goblin King fans. It should not be. That should not be remade. I'm sorry. It just shouldn't be.
No, just don't touch that.
If
please don't.
It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul.
It's please don't. Well, they see they're like, well, what if we CGI recreate the Goblin King?
No,
Don't.
absolutely.
That's even worse. No, don't do that
worse.
either. That's also bad.
Like I don't think anyone would go out and say like, oh, Labyrinth was a really really good movie. Like it's a good movie because it's nostalgic, I think.
And it has this weird, sexual awakening.
Yeah.
Fueled by the one and only David Bowie, and no one else can do that.
Exactly.
So just don't touch it. I'm just telling you now, Hollywood. Don't touch it.
I wonder.
It's not
in the remake. Is it going to be like? Are they going to make it more like G-rated? Like are they going to like dumb it down for kids? Like what are they going to do with this thing?
I don't know. Well, we're gonna get into a real crisis if there's slightly less crotch stuffing. I don't know how people are gonna feel about that.
If there isn't crotch stuffing in this movie,
that's probably why they're getting rid of the Goblin King. It's 2017.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
you can't have crotch stuffing in 2017.
It's a real shame.
Tis a real shame.
No, well, actually, you know what? Actually, this is again Hollywood. Just don't do this, please. Please don't. Please stop. I know you're just ripping and roaring to make the Labyrinth cinematic universe. I get it.
Jesus.
Okay, like I get it. It's really tempting, but just don't do it. Just please stop.
Yeah.
I beg of you.
I think
not the Labyrinth. Anything else?
I think we need to we need to write letters. We need to write letters to Hollywood.
We'll add it to our list of protesting.
Yes.
We have a beef to pick with Hollywood, and we will not be stopped until they acknowledge that Creed got robbed and that the Labyrinth remake is stopped at all costs.
I think
this is our mission.
They're pretty reasonable demands, I think.
I think that's fair. Or else we have a lot of sway. We'll turn our 5 regular listeners against them, and we'll give them what for.
There you go.
I like this plan a lot, David.
It's working.
They'll never see it coming. Well, I guess in some other news, there was that big Star Wars trailer.
Ooh,
I think I'm going to be talking to some of the other guys about it, but I just want to get your quick thoughts on it. What do you think?
Oh,
I'm pretty down with what I saw.
So it reminded me a lot, and this is totally a good thing. It reminded me of the Force Awakens trailer, just the way it was put together and just how little it actually gives of the story.
Yeah, it's like it gave you a good kind of like idea of what themes and motifs might be going on here, but on the actual like intricate plot details, it's very very light.
Man, that one shot, and this is the only thing I'll say, but that one shot of Rey and Luke on the cliff, and you can see her training. Oh yeah, dude! I just got goosebumps everywhere. Like
yeah, I love the scale of it. Like it was really cool just to like. Yeah, it was really cool. I think it was I think I'm definitely down with the direction that they're kind of going.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are like, well, like, is this just gonna be like another Empire? But I think it's gonna be, because people say dumb things about the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But we don't have to open that can.
No, not yet at least.
But I think it definitely seems like this might be like a darker entry, but I think I really like the direction I think it's hinting at, and I think it's going to be very interesting story-wise and character-wise. So.
Yeah, and I think based on the director, I think we can expect a more gritty Star Wars too. Not gritty in the sense of like Rogue One gritty, but like
I was going to say, David, there's already a gritty Star Wars movie.
Stop, Mook. No, there's not. But I think it might do maybe what Rogue One set out to do, but in a better way. and I think it really boils down to having better characters. I think
Definitely.
that's really what it boils down to. But yeah,
Agreed. And and just a parting shot here. I think it's like you mentioned. I think it's a really pretty looking.
ooh,
I mean, just based on what we saw, I think there's some pretty shots, which I like. I like purdy movies,
this
David.
is gonna be a purdy movie.
I like purdy movies. Well, I think last note here, because I just a couple minutes ago, again, you had mentioned a movie that you were pretty excited for on the horizon, and I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't think I've heard of this, and then I was like, no, we have to talk about this because that trailer was amazing.
Yeah.
We should talk about Edgar Wright's upcoming film, Baby Driver.
Yes, Baby Driver. It's gonna be good.
Interesting name, but don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a movie by its title.
That's true.
I'm pretty excited for the. It definitely looks like an Edgar Wright movie. Like I think it has kind of his like visual kind of like the visual comedy that he's I think pretty famous for.
If you just look at kind of like the order of his movies, like his big movies, I know he's directed small films and kind of short films, but like look at the Cornetto trilogy. Like you have Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and then The World's End, and kind of through that arc, he's gotten more and more of an action side to him. So I think as he becomes comfortable with his writing, I think I like the fact that he's exploring this more action route, because man, there are some super well directed action scenes in The World's End, and if Baby Driver has any of that flair, I'm down for it.
I mean, just like because I guess the premise of the film is that it's about a guy who's like a heist driver, and just like some of the driving stunts I saw in the trailer, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I like where this is going. I like this.
Yeah,
I like it. Also, your trailer gets a 10 out of 10 for using Radar Love. I'm sorry, it's just instant 10 out of 10 with Mike. It's just how it is. I honestly didn't
know that song, so I had to look it up after you said that.
David.
Sorry.
David. It's just these are the things that, despite your OG status, that make me ask questions. Okay.
My heart.
I know. Yeah, me too. I don't feel good about it. Neither does Golden Earring. Okay. It's like their only good song, but it's a really good song.
Well, I'll have to listen to more Golden Earring.
No, just listen to Radar Love.
Just Radar Love. Okay, just Radar Love.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll somehow fit it into my my Kendrick playlist that I have. I'll fit in a little Radar Love in there somewhere.
Just the Radar Love interlude. I can't wait for that. Yeah, you heard it here first, people. You know, Kendrick's secret album that he's actually dropping tomorrow. He had to come out and stop all those second album rumors.
Oh,
but,
of course.
Yeah, it's actually just going to be like 70 minutes of Radar Love interludes.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing else. Just like, oh, okay, cool.
All right, well,
I'm down, Kendrick.
Since I'm such a fanboy, I'm going to blindly follow it, and I'm going to blindly love it no matter what he puts out. So there you go. 100%.
That's the plan. Those are the orders. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Cool.
All right. Well, hey, David, that seems like a kind of hit all of our bullet points we wanted to mark down here. So I think we could probably call it there. Any parting shots?
I don't think so. I would just really recommend, and you said like the 5 people who listen to us, I would say of those 5 people, all 5 of them should check out Greasy Strangler. Regardless.
Those are your orders. Watch the Greasy Strangler, stop the Labyrinth remake, and don't forget that Creed got robbed.